Are you saying the new Nazi in town is actually led by China?
And they barely speak English. They are a plant. They have been brought to this country to infiltrate, and they're
Yeah.
spies.
Is what you went through in Poland with communist regime, are we facing that in Canada, America, and the free world?
So you have a nation of politicians right now that are either traitors, turncoats, and they should be charged with treason.
This is David Hebner Live.
Yeah, Pastor, are you from Poland, or are you your ancestors from Poland, or?
Yes, I grew up in Poland behind the
Okay.
Iron Curtain under
Okay.
the boots of the Soviets during the communism and socialism.
So you can see this, you can smell it. Pastor, is what you went through in Poland with communist regime, are we facing that in Canada, America, and the free world? Do you see the same thing playing out, sir?
You know, people are asking me from time to time, is enemy coming? And I'm thinking to myself, oh, you blind people, you don't even see it. The enemy is not coming. The enemy is already here
Right.
among us. Right here, we are being taken over. We are witnessing a coup by the Chinese and a Communist Party. They are already here. It's very interesting because majority of the so-called health inspectors in Calgary are Chinese people, and they barely speak English. They are a plant. They have been brought to this country to infiltrate, and they're
Yeah.
spies. That's what
Yeah.
they are. They are
Right.
Chinese spies. It was very interesting because years ago, my wife noticed we are living in one of the most beautiful places on the planet Earth, and we have Rocky Mountains, and there is a place very well known, Banff and Lake Louise, and I would observe Chinese tourists coming to our area here, which is very very popular. Lots of tourists are coming, and my wife noticed. She said, "Look, all the Chinese people are wearing masks, and we're talking about years ago." They're wearing masks.
Yes,
Even the
I remember.
children
Yeah.
are wearing masks. And we
Hmm.
could never figure it out. We are talking about the cleanest air on the planet Earth. You're in the mountains next by a lake. And instead of breathing freely, the gift that God has given to us, they are wearing those crazy, stupid masks. I could never
Yeah.
figure it out until last year. Now it hit me between my eyes. They were conditioning people around the world. They were told that they can travel if all all of them, including the children, are going to wear a mask wherever they go in the outdoors. And now it makes sense. They were conditioning the Western civilization about what's coming. You know, you see people with a muzzle, then you're not so shocked when the government tells you to put the muzzle as well. Other people are wearing it, so I have to wear it. It's not a big deal. But growing up in Poland, there is a huge benefit to me growing up behind the Iron Curtain under the dictatorship of the Russians, communism, socialism. I saw the destruction. I call it living in hell, if you will, under the communism is absolutely unbelievable. It's shocking. It's sad. 50,000 communist people were ruling over 36 Polish people, and with a total hand of slavery. There were 50,000 masters, the rest of the society were slaves. I witnessed that with my own eyes, the destruction of my beautiful country, the horror of depression. That's why Polish people were drinking so much, because you had absolutely no hope. Hopelessness was everywhere. There were no colors in the land. It was just everything was like a dark shadow. But
Uh-huh.
I also witnessed 1981. And if you know your history, you know that in 1981, Poland was the first country after many decades that rose up with a movement called Solidarity with Lech Wałęsa. Solidarity was the movement when people came together, working people, and they said to the government, we will not comply. We will not work for you anymore. We will not obey your orders. And they took it to the streets. 1981, millions of Poles took it to the streets. Some were arrested. Actually, tens of thousands were arrested. Some were shot to death. I saw tanks, machine guns, soldiers. It was a horrible thing to see. However, 1982 came and Polish people won their freedom. And now Poland is one of the best democracies on the planet Earth because some people were willing to stand up and fight, especially for us, because my grandparents were telling me stories about the Nazis, the SS. My grandma had to hide under the mattress, and on top was an officer raping another girl. I've heard the stories of Germans shooting people, murdering. Every year I go to Auschwitz-Birkenau, the biggest concentration camp on the planet Earth, built by the Nazis, just to remind myself about what a man is capable of if you don't put a check in their authority and their power. So you're talking to a guy that grew up in hell. I have seen what communism is doing and did to my country, my family. Also heard the stories from my grandparents, what Nazis did to my country and my family. And now here I am in so-called free and democratic country, Canada, facing exactly, and I mean, I'm not exaggerating, exactly the same tactics. Mainstream media lying. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I want to ask you, are you, and correct me if I'm wrong, are you saying the new Nazi in town is actually led by China? Is the communism, are they the head of the party? I understand it's Satan behind it all, but do you see it coming through China?
I actually truly believe that Chinese are behind this. They have been trying to take over the Western civilization for a while, and they just are trying a different approach. Instead of invading with guns and tanks and planes the country, they've decided to infiltrate the country and buy themselves in. It's all about money. If you're looking at the president of Belarus, he was offered $1 billion to implement all those restrictions. When you start to talk, because I am very heavily involved in politics. My friends were in high places. I hang around with ministers and members of parliament, and I have met many times the prime minister, and so I hear, I see what's going on, and I'm telling you, our politicians were bought. Someone bribed them, and someone is blackmailing some of them. And I'm not saying this lightly. I believe they were bought. Some that would not sell their people, they were blackmailed. So you have a nation of politicians right now that are either traitors, turncoats, and they should be charged with treason, or they've done terrible things and now they have something on them and they are being blackmailed and paid at the same time. I truly believe that's how it's being played. And the only people that actually have that kind of amount of money globally, it must be a Chinese government with an assistant of few other families like Bill Gates and Rothschilds and all those devils.
In these last days, there will be perilous times. People will worship false gods. Lying signs and wonders. Bibles will be taken out of schools. As the Antichrist arises, Christians will be persecuted. But now, God's people have awakened. David Heavner Investigates is proud to bring you End Times Investigations, a new DVD series containing over 8 hours of interviews, commentaries, and teaching on Illuminati and the New World Order, Satanism, miracles and healings, the Antichrist, and one world religion. David interviews some of the top experts in their field.
Hi, I'm David Heavner, and I'm proud to bring you this brand new DVD collection, End Times Investigations.
David reveals how the media is working hand in hand with the Antichrist system. Order now and receive this special DVD collection. Equip yourself and your family. Text BONUS to 41444 or davidheavner.tv/order. Call toll free 844-806-0006. Text BONUS to 41444 or davidheavner.tv/order. Call toll free 844-806-0006.